Marlon Humphrey, Ravens cornerback, played every defensive snap on Sunday in the 28-24 loss to the Steelers, tested positive based on a sample that was collected before the game. The process of contact tracing and identifying not just the close contacts, but the high-risk contacts that get sent home for 5 days, even if they never test positive themselves.
Right.
That has resulted in a total of 7 Ravens defensive players, Chris, being sent home for 5 days. And the way the math works, they don't come back till Saturday.
Right.
Now, they can play Sunday against the Colts, but this is the Las Vegas Raiders starting offensive line conundrum where you're not going to be able to get these guys ready. You got to do it all remotely. They're not going to be there for practice. Now, I think, and you tell me if I'm wrong, I think it affects defensive players less than it affects offensive players.
Agreed.
But still, you're not there to engage in the practices that will be tailored to dealing with the Indianapolis Colts offense. And so
That's right.
these guys, when they show up on Saturday, they're going to be less prepared than they would have been.
Well, yeah, I mean, first off is there some pretty damn good names on that list too, where you go, yeah, that's a good football player. I mean, Matt Judon, like what? There's a few guys through there.
I think we have the graphic.
There it is.
The graphic.
Patrick Queen, Malik Harrison's and the other starting middle linebacker. I mean, Deshaun Elliott's the starting safety, of course. Tyus Bowser plays a lot as outside linebacker. So those are all starters or major contributors there. So that hurts. And to your point, Mike, like I would agree with you. It's worse for the offensive guys to miss practice, but still, it's not that it's that much better with the defensive guys missing because, to what you're saying, hey, the meetings, the Zooms, hey, that'll be great. They'll be able to stay engaged and know what's going on. But it's about the test the coach puts you through in practice and walkthrough that really is what prepares you for the game, right? Hey, we're in this defense, and when they motion the tight end over here, we want to make a check and now switch to this defense, right? And he's not going to get to go through the mechanics of that, like those type of guys. That's what I'm saying. The outside linebacker, middle linebacker, they're not going to be able to, hey, check. Hey, we're going Willy Wonka here, Willy Wonka, whatever. I'm making stuff up, as you know, but that is what they'll miss, that dynamic too. And it's a good offense with the Colts. They got a lot of different formations and motions and a lot of different ways to attack you. And that might lead to maybe Baltimore, I don't know, being a hair more vanilla on the defensive side of the ball would be the one thing I would think of because they are fairly complicated and exotic that way.
It would be great if there was a way to actually simulate the presence of the players at the walkthrough. And you've seen those robots that have an iPhone on top.
Right.
It's for something like this that is so random, you never know when you're going to need it. You need 7 of the robots for this week's practices to get the guys in a position where they can be home and they can see how it all unfolds around them. So this is just part of what you have to deal with. And without a home market bubble, the NFL is accepting guys are going to get it. And the reality is, cold and flu season, numbers continue to go up. No matter how much some want to ignore it, the old plug your ears and say, la, 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 not listening, numbers going up. People are getting it in all walks of life. And so when you send that 170 people home from every NFL facility every night, the chances are going up and up that someone's going to get it. And so when someone slips through the cracks, provides a sample and is around the team the entirety of game day, on the sidelines, on the field, in the locker room, wherever, you're going to have this procedure that gets activated where the high-risk close contacts get sent home, even if they never get it, which is going to keep teams from being prepared for games and maybe keep guys from playing in games. I mean, if the Ravens played Thursday night this week, these guys wouldn't play, period. That's it, and they're not going to move the game for them. They've skewed away from a forfeit concept, I think in part because they recognize they'd have to pay the players in the event of a forfeit. But their attitude is, hey, look, if you have a guy who gets it and you don't keep them away from everyone else and they are deemed close contacts, you're just not going to have those guys available. Next man up. And that's what the Ravens are going to have to deal with this weekend, Chris.
Yeah, no, it is. It's the way of the world. That's why it's going to be more important, now than ever for the players to really be, on their game as far as when they leave the facility. Yeah, we're getting towards the holidays, and college kids are coming back, and people are going to start traveling, and they're not going to, sequester themselves inside of a room for 14 days. That's just not going to happen across. It's just the fact of the matter. So, I do. It's on these players, especially, man, if you're on one of these teams, these winning teams, Super Bowl type teams fighting for a playoff spot. Wow. I know me as an ex-player, I would be like my own bubble boy. I really would be. Oh, honey, they're coming here. No, they're not. I got a game this Sunday. Sorry. Stay away. What? I'm not even sure I'd let my kids in school in a year like this if I was the quarterback of a football team. I'm dead serious. I'd be like, kids, sorry. Dad's making $28 million playing quarterback. You got to sit home and do it on Zoom. I don't know what else there is to say, but it's still going to be a tough fight here as like you said, the flu season picks up.
This is stuff that isn't getting discussed in part because the media access isn't what it has been ever before, because it's all reliant upon these periodic Zoom conferences, and you don't get a whole lot of questions in.
Stinks.
But there are coaches who are staying in hotels and not at home because they have kids in school.
Right.
They're trying to avoid it. So that's part of the reality. And look, I think this is a point where we just pause for a second and say the Pittsburgh Steelers, one of the reasons why they're 7-0, and one of the reasons why they're going to continue to be great this year, I think they've got it top to bottom of the organization. They've got the message communicated to every player.
Right.
And Shireen and I were talking about this yesterday. One of the benefits of being afraid of your coach is you do not want to ever piss him off. And I think Mike Tomlin, combined with that veteran leadership and that laser focus, they're not going to put themselves in a bad spot.
No.
And we heard Anthony Lynn say it back during Hard Knocks when he was talking to his Chargers players. Whoever masters this is going to be in position to win the Super Bowl. And here are the Steelers. The only whiff of an issue they have is the fact that they played the Ravens on Sunday and their guys were around Marlon Humphrey, although the NFL continues to believe that's not nearly enough to transmit the virus from one player to another.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.